Before I answer the question of the Honorable Rog Gutierrez, I'd like to begin with a word of gratitude to the honorable members of the committee for the grant of understanding and grant of understanding in my medical in my recent travel to the US due to a medical emergency of an immediate family member. I do want to let you know that the worst is not over yet for my relative, but the family is still expecting, of course, the best possible outcome. Having said that, I do want to extend my appreciation, and my entire family really is actually very appreciative of this act of kindness that was extended to me during that difficult time. Having said that, good morning again, Sir Rog. I arrived last November 18, which was last Monday. And then, kahapon lang po ako pumasok officially sa opisina namin. I have not seen at all ASEC Lemuel Ortonio, and I understand that he is on official travel. Thank you.
Mr.
Yes,
Chair, with that,
Congressman Rog.
I would like to take it po, no, that that's official manifestation of the Chief of Staff. So there seems to be a conflict. On one hand, he is on official travel, and on the other, in his letter, he stated he will be present today. So that just adds to the point that the Deputy Speaker was making, and I think I leave it to the committee for our consideration. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat, Attorney Lopez. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well, to be honest with you, I find it unjustifiable yung reason po niya, because this is not the first time na absent po siya. This is the 6th committee hearing, and yet from the outset hindi naman po siya uma-attend. They refused to participate. Lahat naman po buong Pilipinas nakakaalam na hinahanap na po siya dito sa ating committee hearing, at unfortunately hanggang ngayon, lahat po sila, yung 4 po, hindi pa rin po dumarating.
Mr. Chair, most respectfully, I think we're all in agreement that the excuse is not acceptable. But I think this is just to add, this is an aggravating circumstance of sort. Why would Mr. Ortonio mention that he will be here today in the letter and at the same time be on official leave? So which is which po? That's what I meant po, Mr. Chair, most respectfully, for the consideration of this committee. Yun
Yes,
na po. Maraming
thank
salamat.
you.
Chair, can I just
Yes,
get...
Deputy Speaker J.J. Suarez.
Thank you very much. Attorney Sanchez, kayo po yung OIC Chief of Staff ngayon? Ano pong position ang hawak nyo ngayon?
Mr. Chair, I was not designated as OIC Chief of Staff.
While Attorney Lopez was away, is that correct?
No, Mr. Chair. I was only designated only for October 18, 2024, for 1 day only, Mr. Chair.
1 day?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Sandali ka lang naman pala nag-OIC, ano? Isang araw lang. Bakit
Yes.
isang araw lang?
Mr. Chair, at that time, both of them were on travel and they returned the week after.
So who was acting, Attorney Lopez, who was acting in your capacity while you were away?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, while I was away, I understand it was the Assistant Secretary, Mr. Lemuel Ortonio, who was the officer in charge of the OVP.
Okay, the same person that we're talking about, no?
Yes, Your Honor, but I left early on. I was away November 4.
So if he is in official travel, who granted him that travel authority?
I beg your indulgence. I was not able to see yet the travel authority because, as I mentioned earlier, I really just arrived, and that was not really one of the documents I
because he
have gone
cannot
through.
he cannot issue the travel authority to himself.
Yes.
So him being the one in charge. So my question is, who issued his travel authority? So you were not there. So
Yes.
it's Attorney Sanchez.
Mr. Chair, I will check with the office, but I have not seen the travel authority, Mr. Chair.
So but he does have a travel authority. Can you confirm that he has a travel authority?
I am not aware, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Can you be kind enough to ask your office? Maybe we can get that information within the hour. Kasi nakakapagtaka lang, Mr. Chair, siya po yung officer in charge at sinasabi niya na wala siya dito, although pinangako niya na darating siya. So medyo hindi ko lang po maitugma yung dahilan kung bakit hindi pa rin siya sumisipot. So that's it, Mr. Chair, no?
Chair, in line with this
Thank you.
manifestation of
Congressman
the
Zia.
SGJ, yes, in line with the manifestation of the SGJ, I think we all know as a regular administrative processes, whenever you are requesting for a travel authority, alam po naman natin talaga it's the principal as the head of the agency that really approves that. So I don't think it would take, I guess, Attorney Sanchez to verify from the office who authorized the travel authority of this particular individual. I mean, judging from the way the administrative processes is being practiced and exercised in the bureaucracy, in all bureaucracies in the government, we know that it would be the vice president who would probably grant the travel authority to this particular. Am I correct?
Mr. Chair, based on the delegation of authorities in our office order, the approval for travel orders of the Chief of Staff and the Assistant Chief of Staff belong to the head of agency, Mr. Chair.
That's it. Who is the head of the agency?
The Vice President, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Meron pa po? Kung wala na po, we will now proceed to the next.
Lang,
Yes,
Mr. Chair, sorry.
DS, J. Suarez.
Medyo napakahirap po kasing lunukin tong patuloy na pag-e-evade ng mga opisyales na iniimbitahan natin dito. May I just manifest, Mr. Chair, that as we progress, and I hope na we can conclude this committee hearing in the next few weeks, can we also look into the possibility of administrative sanctions against these individuals who continue to defy invitations, subpoenas, contempt orders against these public officials? Malingkod bayan po ito, Mr. Chair. So, binabasa ko po yung mga batas patungkol po sa mga public officials. Ay talagang tungkulin po nila yung humarap sa mga ganitong pandinig. At kung patuloy po silang umiiwas, hindi pupunta at hindi dadalo at gagawa ng kung ano-ano mang dahilan, sa palagay ko po, Mr. Chair, dapat mapag-aralan din po ng komitibang ito kung ano pong mga kasong administratibo ang pwede pong ipataw sa kanila dahil hindi po ito sumusunod sa alituntunin ng isang lingkod bayan. So that's my short manifestation, Mr. Chair, with regards to Acosta, to Sunshine Fajarda, to Ortonio, and to Mr. Fajarda. So, thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, short comment lang din, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman Manuel.
Mr. Chair, dagdag din sa nabanggit na ating mga kapamambabatas. Mr. Chair, kung ganito yung tipo ng mga excuses na matatanggap ng committee, sa totoo lang ay parang sampal na rin to sa taong bayan, Mr. Chair. Kasi halimbawa itong sulat ni Mr. Lemuel Ortonio, gusto po niya na ma-lift daw yung contempt order and arrest order para raw maka-attend siya dito sa committee. In the first place, Mr. Chair, hindi siya dumadalo, kaya siya pinatawan ng contempt order and arrest order, tapos para bang nagsiset pa siya ng kondisyon sa atin para raw makapag-participate talaga siya. Parang niloloko tayo dito, Mr. Chair. Pangalawa, ito pong sulat ni na Sunshine Fajarda, Edward Fajarda, tsaka Gina Acosta. Kasi raw may ginagawa sila sa OVP. Mr. Chair, kung ganito pala, baka kahit isamon po natin sila 20 times dito sa committee, pwedeng sabihin lang nila, meron silang official duties sa Office of the Vice President. At yun yung kanilang gagamitin excuse para hindi sila dumalo. Pag ganun, Mr. Chair, actually, kaya nga tayo nag-hold ng mga hearings dito para matiyak na kapag may mga official duties ang mga public officials at merong pondo na nilalaan para sa mga activities nila, nagagamit ng tama yung pondo. We can't allow na magpatuloy lang sa parang normal operations ang mga opisina gaya ng OVP, ngayong naungkat nga natin na merong mga kaduda-dudang transactions. Actually, itong ginagawa natin, Mr. Chair, makakatulong nga ito para mapabuti pa, supposedly, yung kanilang serbisyo. Wala tayo dito para i-hamper sila sa kung ano yung kanilang mga gampanin. Kaya, all the more, Mr. Chair, na once and for all, dapat talaga dumalo sila dito at hindi maghapag ng mga, actually, parang nagiging petty na lang yung kanilang mga ginagamit na mga dahilan para hindi sila makadalo. Yun lang, Mr. Chair. Salamat.
Your Honor.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chair, may
Yes,
I have
Congressman
this is
Zia.
very germane to the topic we're discussing right now. I'd like to ask Attorney Sanchez, ma'am, how many times can an employer, for example, a staff, request for a travel authority? May limit pa po sa inyo? Ilang beses po yan?
Attorney Sanchez.
And what are the reasons for example, for the head of the agency to grant this request for a travel authority?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We do not have a specific limit as to the number of times that a staff can travel as long as there is basis or justification and necessity for the travel, Your Honor. It is granted. Your Honor.
So you have to, for example, Mr. Chair, if I may be allowed, no? Kasi gusto ko lang po malaman dahil parang ang always na narason na naririnig natin ay official travel. Can you categorize to us, paano mo i-differentiate dun sa official travel, how many times can an employee request for official travel? Kung official yan na, like the regular operation ng opisina ninyo.
Your Honor, usually for official travels, it's not the employee that requests, but it's the
Office. Okay.
that
So
orders.
what about yung personal travel?
For personal travel, Your Honor, generally it would be based on the available leaves of the staff, but there would be instances when necessary, for example, if there are medical reasons, Your Honor, that can also be granted, but without.
What other reasons are there available that an employee can request for a personal travel? I believe there is the medical reasons. What other reasons can an employee, a regular employee, request for a personal travel?
Your Honor, for personal travel, there are different reasons provided under the CSC guidelines. It can be vacation or emergency leave kung namatayan, but different and
Pero hindi
varied
naman
reasons.
every week or every month magkakaroon ka ng travel, di ba? The reason why I'm asking this, Mr. Chair, and I want to put into record, because since the time that we have started this committee hearings, apparently there are certain individuals who consistently refuse to appear before this committee hearing, despite the insistence of this committee sending them invitation to appear. And they have even the gall to request to the committee to lift the contempt order, Mr. Chair. Pang-ilan na po natin ito? Pang-7? Pang-5? Pang-6 na po ito, Mr. Chair. Pang-6 na ano. So, to me, if you ask me, my personal take on that is there's a deliberate refusal to attend this committee hearing. And there's a deliberate way to frustrate the proceedings of this committee, which to me, gusto kong tanungin, how many times did they send us an excuse letter citing a travel authority? Kasi parang na-abuse na po ito. I think it's time for this committee, maybe, perhaps, to really evolve the way that we receive and accept these reasons. Kasi kailangan na natin, tama nga yung sinabi ni Kong Jill, parang hindi na sila natitinag sa contempt order eh. So we don't want to set this example that anybody who does not like to attend, hindi ko alam kung whatever reason, dahil ayaw lang nila sumagot sa committee na ito, ay gagamitin lang nila yung convenient reason na nagkakaroon sila ng travel order, Mr. Chair. Comsec, how many times did they send us their excuse letter that they are on official travel?
Your Honor, from the time as a PINA at testificandum was issued, so and successfully served from November 11 to today, since there's a standing contempt. For the first 4 hearings, they sent position papers stating points that why they are not attending, Your Honor. After that, travel orders na po, Your Honor.
It's really bothering, Mr. Chair, because tinanong ko nga, who really approves the travel order? And then it's obviously, Mr. Chair, that there's a deliberate attempt to really frustrate the proceedings and for this committee to really find out kung ano talaga itong mga allegations na kinakaharap nila ng opisina. Just to put that into record, Mr. My manifestation and my frustration as well, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. The chair would like to recognize Congressman Kit Flores.
Mr. Chair, kanina pa tayo dito sa excuses ni na Paharda and since the Chief of Staff already mentioned that they're on official travel, may I know from the Chief of Staff exactly where the travel is of the spouses Paharda?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, as mentioned earlier, I was not able to see the travel authority of these individuals, Your Honor.
But would you know where the activities are, supposedly? Where they were sent?
Yes, the Office of the Vice President is actually turning 89 years old, Your Honor.
I know. Just
Yes.
give me the place po. I just need
sorry.
the place.
I'm sorry. We are holding several activities across all our 10 satellite offices, Your Honor. So we have in BARM, we
Kaya
have...
nga, I just need where Paharda and the spouses Paharda were sent today.
Oh, but Your Honor, I cannot answer that because...
Who can answer it among the OVP people present? Attorney Sanchez?
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have not seen the travel orders.
So you don't know where these people went? You just disappeared or something?
I have not seen the travel orders.
Can you call
but-
the HR?
Yes.
Where is the activity now? Exactly what city, what town? Because this is my suggestion. The Sergeant at Arms is here. He coordinates with the Chief of Police of the town where they're holding the activity. Then enforce the contempt order. Tapos, di ba? Para kanina pa tayo eh.
Thank you. Pwede po bang maibigay ninyo sa amin yung exact location ngayon ng activities?
We will check, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you po. Now, just to give a short comment, no? It is the duty of public officers to appear before Congress or any of its committees. In fact, in the case of BALAG versus Senate of the Philippines, GR number 234608, dated July 3, 2018, the Supreme Court had the occasion to rule that the attendance is mandatory when so summoned by Congress, is underscored by the fact that failure to do so without legal basis is subject to criminal sanction under Article 150 of the Revised Penal Code. So, para lang po maunawaan ng ating mga kababayan, ito po ay ang hindi po pagdalo sa mga committee hearing ng Kongreso ay pwede pong makasuhan ng kriminal. Dahil ito po ay tinatalaga ng batas na ang pagpunta dito ay mandatory para sa mga public officials. Maraming salamat po. Meron pa po bang gustong magsalita? Yes, Comsec, please continue.
Your Honor, I would like to recognize Vice Chairperson, Honorable Janet L. Garin from the 1st District of Iloilo, Honorable Rolando M. Valeriano from the 2nd District of Manila, and from the Department of Education, Undersecretary for Operations, Mr. Rev. C. A. Escobedo is present. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. We will now proceed to the next item in our agenda. We will continue on the deliberation. The first to interpolate is... Teka, may listahan ko. Okay. The chair would like to recognize the first interpolator, Congressman Zia Alonto Adyong.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Mr. Chair, I'd like to take off from the previous discussions that we had last November 5, Mr. Chair, where the committee has already established a numerous acknowledgement receipts from the Office of the Vice President as well as from the Office Department of Education these various of these acknowledgement receipts bearing no names and only signatures, Mr. Chair. Now, we have already established that in the last committee hearing. There were even acknowledgement receipts, Mr. Chair, with names that repeatedly, no? Hindi lang dalawang beses, even thrice. 3 beses pong nag-a-appear sa ito sa mga sets of acknowledgement receipts. May mga acknowledgement receipts din, Mr. Chair, na pare-pareho ang pagkasulat. At yung iba pare-pareho yung tinta ng kanilang ballpen na ginamit. Na there have been numerous other observations, Mr. Chair, which lead this committee and at least this representation to believe na meron talagang questionable yung processes at mukhang gawa-gawa, no? Yung tong mga acknowledgement receipts na ito, Mr. Chair. So since we started discussing about the acknowledgement receipt, Mr. Chair, there were numerous inquiries from the public asking me kung how important is this acknowledgement receipts are. So, pag-usapan po natin yon, and I think this is part of my manifestation before I go on proceed with my questions, Mr. Chair. Ang mga acknowledgement receipts na po ito ay isinumite ng Office of the Vice President at the Department of Education bilang documentary evidence of payment for the supposed expenses using confidential funds, Mr. Chair. For the record, and to answer the public, Mr. Chair, yung buong kabuuan po ng confidential funds ng Office of the Vice President, totaling 500 million pesos, as well as the confidential funds of the Department of Education, totaling 112.5 million. These amounts were liquidated, Mr. Chair, solely through the acknowledgement receipts, totaling with a grand total of 612.5 million of these public funds utilized na ginamit na ang binigay lang sa COA as a justification for the utilization of these confidential funds ay yung acknowledgement receipts na marami ho tayong nakita in the previous hearings na medyo questionable. Yung iba ay to a point na nakakatawa, Mr. Chair. And I would just like to cite an example, and let me go back to the previous, again, acknowledgement receipt that was first observed by Chairman Romy Acop. How many acknowledgement receipts are we talking here, Mr. Chair? No, based on my office count, there are almost 4,500 acknowledgement receipts na nanggaling po in total, no? Both nanggaling po sa Office of the Vice President, pati rin po galing po dun sa Department of Education when the Vice President concurrently holding the office as Secretary. Roughly 4,500, 2,670 from the Office of the Vice President submitted acknowledgement receipts, and 1,820 with no invoices, zero official receipts, no? Lahat po ito acknowledgement receipts na walang attachment of proof of identity, no? Or the existence man lang ng yung supposed recipients nito ay buhay or totoong tao. So this is what we find out during the previous committee hearings, and this is what I think the observation of this representation would like to find out. May I again, let me go back to the previous discussion that we had at nagkaroon din ito ng national traction. May I request the COMSEC to please flash the first acknowledgement receipt that was noticed by Chairman Acop. Ayan po, Mr. Chair. Yung Mary Grace Piatos, no? Isa po yan sa mga acknowledgement receipt na naisumite sa Commission on COA, Commission on Audit, na alam naman po natin na yung pangalan na Mary Grace ay isang restaurant, yung Piatos ay isang chichirya. No, if you ask me, medyo questionable kung meron pa ho talagang taong nagngangalang Mary Grace Piatos. Now, we could not find out whether this Mary Grace Piatos is indeed a person or alive because there's no corroborate attachment to it other than the acknowledgement receipt. na-receive natin, ang pirmado niya. So, Mr. Chair, this prompted, Mr. Chair, in fact, some of the members here, and I guess members who came out with a, yung pabuya na kung sino man ang makakapagturo, Mr. Chair, sa taong ito na buhay, we are willing to provide 1 million pesos as a reward for anybody who can point to us whether this Mary Grace Piatos is indeed a person and if she is really around, alive, no, Mr. Chair. Also, as Mr. Chair, another observation that I want to ask, I think it was also already mentioned during the previous hearings, that there are names appearing in both the acknowledgement receipts from the OVP and as well as from the Department of Education. Pero may isang pangalan na nag-stand out sa akin among all the acknowledgement receipts na sinumite nila. So, Mr. Chair, just to maintain the confidentiality of the activities, assuming there were any such activities, Mr. Chair, I would just like to show to you the signature of this particular acknowledgement receipt which I noticed, Mr. Chair. No? May I request our COMSEC to flash the second? Yan po. Ito po yung acknowledgement receipt. Galing po yan sa Office of the Vice President. Yung set po na sinubmit. Gusto ko lang pong tanungin ang ating COA. Mr. Chair, is Ms. Camora present?
May we know if
Here?
representative from COA is present? Attorney Camora. Saan? Yes, Attorney Camora is present.
Attorney? Comsec, can you please flash the... You have already taken your oath, man, no? Kasi several times ka naman umattend, no, Attorney Camora? Tama po ba? Yes. Can you... Yeah,
Attorney
please.
Camora, please answer.
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
Nakita niyo naman po itong no? Acknowledgement receipt, no?
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
Sa palagay niyo, nababasa niyo po ba yan, yung pangalan dyan?
It's, I think, Kokoy Villamin po.
Yeah, Kokoy Villamin received on, ano ba yan, 9, no?
September
17, 2023, no? So, itabi lang po natin yan for the meantime. And I'd like also to show you another acknowledgement receipt, this time from the Department of Education. Mr. Chair, can I ask COMSEC to... Yes. On the left side, with black ink, that's from the OVP. On the other side is from DepEd. Okay, pakibasa po yan, yung pangalan din po dyan sa DepEd.
Parang parehas po, Mr. Chair, Kokoy Villamin.
Parehas po, no?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Oo. So, ibig sabihin, the point I'm trying to drive at, Mr. Chair, is that based on the documents and the acknowledgement receipts, which we do not have any other ways to really affirm whether these persons and individuals who have received the confidential funds were truly alive and truly person, makikita po natin yung medyo hindi ho kapanipaniwala ako, ordinary po ako na tao, I'm not an auditor, but as you can see it, pareho po yung pangalan nila, Kokoy Villamin, yung acknowledgement receipt from the Office of the Vice President, and at the same time, from the DepEd, the same person, Kokoy Villamin, from Osamis, no? Sa palagay niyo po ba yan? Kung titingnan po natin, Mr. Chair, sa palagay natin, common ba yung pangalan na, Mr. Chair, Ms. Camora, yung pangalan na Kokoy Villamin?
Mr. Chair, parang hindi po since hindi, para siyang nickname yung Kokoy po.
So, masasabi niyo po ba as a head or nag-audit ng intelligence confidential funds Audit Office. Masasabi niyo po ba yan na isang person yan?
Pwede po, Mr. Chair.
Pwede?
Pwede po.
Pwedeng isang person, no? Is it just a coincidence that the same two offices heading by the same person, submitting to you the same acknowledgement receipts, can encounter two persons? How unlikely would that be? Two persons with the same name, bearing the same spelling, same last name, with the same first name. Posible po po yan?
Medyo likely less possible.
Yeah, I think
po.
it's highly unlikely, Mr. Chair, na yun po yung mangyayari, no? Kung titingnan niyo po ba yan, Ms. Camora, yung sulat po ba dyan pagkapareho?
Hindi po.
I think it's very obvious, Mr. Chair, that the signatures, Mr. Chair, on the acknowledgement receipt submitted by the Office of the Vice President is quite different from the acknowledgement received by the Department of Education, no? Parehang pangalan pero mukhang magkaiba ang tinta. Mr. Chair, this is just one of the examples that we have received, no? From the office from the COA, no? Yung sinabit po nilang acknowledgement receipt, Mr. Chair. Now, is it true, Mr. Chair, that I'd like to ask Attorney Camora, is it true, Mr. Chair, na magkaiba po yung auditor dun sa OVP at saka the same sa Department of Education?
Parang that time po.
Yung resident auditor po nila, magkaiba po, no?
Yes po.
Oh,
Yung
magkaiba.
resident auditor,
Yes, magkaiba.
definitely magkaiba po.
Kasi kung isa po yung auditor nito, I think malalaman po nila ito and they will be flagged, no? Kung bakit magkaparehong pangalan and magkaiba yung signatures. Exactly the same spelling and exactly the same family name. Tama po ba?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think, Mr. Chair, this is something that we should look into. The reason why I'm pointing this out, Mr. Chair, and for the public's information, ito po yung pinag-uusapan natin dito. Dahil unang-una po, with this kind of itong pag-aabuso sa ganitong proseso ng pag-audit na ibibigay lang po nila is acknowledgement receipts, it gives us so many, it provides us so many, and it opens up so many floodgates of questions, which I believe, yun yung pinaka-importante po na masagot. Dahil these are public funds utilized, and these are funds na readily available for their request. Tapos ganito yung nakikita nating mga reports nila at saka yung pag-acknowledge ng kanilang pag-utilize ng kanilang pondo. It's very obvious, Mr. Chair, na hindi lang po si Mary Grace Piatos ang nakita po nating questionable. Nakikita din po natin na may mga acknowledgement receipts, Mr. Chair, na pare-pareho yung pangalan, na magkakaiba yung date, na magkakaiba yung kanilang pirma, Mr. Chair. So it begs the question now, how do we be able to supply answers to this question? But even if we ask COA here, mayroon bang attachment na sinubmit sa inyo to verify whether this was given as a way to purchase information, or is it a reward payment for an information that is relevant to the activity of the Office of the Vice President or the DepEd in relation to confidential funds? Kasi magkaiba po yan eh.
Mr. Chair, acknowledgement receipts po ang sinubmit nila, and
Acknowledgement receipt po, ano po yan? That's the payment for information, purchase of information, or
Both
yung
po.
reward?
Both po, Mr. Chair, acknowledgement receipts ang sinubmit nila for both information and rewards. It's just that sa rewards po, may additional requirement lang po kaming hiningi.
Yeah, but unfortunately, some of these acknowledgement receipts were not supported by a certificate of success. Hindi ho ba? Kasi magkaiba po yan, Mr. Chair. Pag yung purchase of information, regardless whether this information are useful or not, talagang bibilin mo lang yan. Diba? But the reward and payment for the information dapat po yan may certificate of success, hindi ho ba? Dun sa agencies po na pinagpartneran, for example, ng inyong opisina. Tama po ba yun, Attorney Camora?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
And all of these acknowledgement receipts were being supported by the certificate of success?
Mr. Chair, yung sa rewards lang po.
Yeah, but on not all of this, in this particular case na sinad ko po sa inyo, are you familiar with this kind of acknowledgement receipts? Or have you came across this particular questionable acknowledgement receipts?
Yan po yung mga ni-review namin dati. Although at that time, Mr. Chair, wala naman po sa
Yeah, that
namin na
that's why that's why you have issued yung observation memorandum ninyo. It's precisely because they have failed to at least provide you the attachment to verify or at least to authenticate that indeed these funds that were used for a reward or payment of reward were not substantiated by a certificate of success. Tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Again, Mr. Chair, it begs us the question, gaano kalala yung pag-aabuso dito sa office confidential funds? I think we have just started unearthing all of these problems and all of the questionable acknowledgement receipts. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg, Mr. Chair. If we go deeper into this, mukhang widespread po ang nangyaring pag-aabuso sa pondo po ng ating gobyerno, Mr. Chair, insofar as the utilization of confidential funds is concerned on both the Department of Education and the Office of the Vice President. Hindi lang ho si Mary Grace, ang sabi ko nga po, hindi lang ho si Mary Grace Piatos po ang questionable dito. Meron din pong mga pangalan na pare-parehong nag-a-appear po on both acknowledgement receipts, Mr. Speaker, coming from the Office of the Vice President as well as from the Department of Education. Mr. Chair, just a manifestation, and I believe there are questions relating to this that my colleagues would also like to ask the COA, and I would yield to my colleagues to further inquire kung paano po ito nakalusot at saka ano po talaga yung nature ng pagbibigay ng acknowledgement receipts, which I believe, to my mind, Mr. Chair, is open to abuse, Mr. Chair. And yung process po ng pagganito kung ganito, if we allow this to continue on, talagang maabuso at prone talaga po sa mismanagement ng pondo ng binibigay po sa mga ahensya. Particularly, Mr. Chair, ito pong discussion natin ng utilization ng confidential funds ng Department of Education while the Vice President was still holding the agency as the Department Secretary. Marami pong salamat, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Attorney Camora.
Thank you, Honorable Zia Alonto Adjong. The next to interpolate is Congresswoman Janet Garin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Since the Honorable Manuel went for a quick meeting, allow me to pursue the line of questioning of the Honorable Zia. Kanina po, Mr. Chairman, may pinakitang acknowledgement receipt. May I pose, if I may be allowed to pose the question to Congressman Zia, Mr. Chair? Okay lang po ba?
Do we allow that, Mr. Chair?
Very quickly lang, very quickly.
Yes po, ma'am.
With the permission of the Chair. Kanina po kasi sinabi nyo acknowledgement receipt. Ang ibig po ba sabihin nito ay pagpirma mo na ikaw ay nakatanggap ng pera?
Tama po ba? Tama po yun.
So pera siya, hindi siya gamot, hindi siya pagkain, hindi siya bahay, pera.
Yes, tama po yun. Yung acknowledgement receipts na binigay po nila sa COA.
At itong tinanggap na pera ay para po saan?
Doon po sa in connection with the utilization of the confidential funds po, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
Okay. That's why I was asking, Mr. Chair, kasi narinig ko kasi yung salita libo-libong acknowledgement receipt. Did I get it right?
That's correct, Mr. Chair, Your Honor. Actually, based on our count, meron pong sinubmit na 4,500 acknowledgement receipts.
4,500 acknowledgement
That's
receipt.
in total, both from the Office of the Vice
How many
President.
people?
And I presume if for each individuals,
So magkakaiba yung pangalan, Mr. Chair.
parang may magkakapare-pareho nga Mr. Chair. As I already
So,
showed.
Mr. Chair, I just posed that question so that in the next review of the Honorable Zia, maybe he can look into the 4,500 acknowledgement receipts. Kung ito ba ay 4,500 na tao o these are 4,500 acknowledgement receipts covering how many people? Yan lang po. Kasi para po medyo maliwanagan ako dun sa presentation. My next question, Mr. Chair, to our distinguished resource person from COA. She mentioned that she perused over these documents. So I'm not sure, Mr. Chair, if it's COA who can answer or somebody else from our resource person. Sino po, kasi acknowledgement receipt, ina-acknowledge mo na natanggap ka, sino po ang nagpapatanggap? Who releases
Attorney
the
Camora.
money?
Mr. Chair, it is supposed to be the SDO, the Special
Ilan po ang
District
SDO, Mr.
Officer.
Chair?
Sa case po ng OVP, Mr. Chair, isa, and sa case po ng DepEd is isa din po.
In a span of how many months or days or weeks po na pa-release ng dalawang SDO yung 4,500 na acknowledgement receipts?
I think yung 4,000 po is for the total of from 2022 ng OVP, 2023 ng OVP, and 2023 po ng...
So if we just reckon on the date, Mr. Chair, so kasi nakita ko lang, pasensya na, medyo hindi ko kasi nakita lahat ng papel, I'm just basing on what I saw. Tama ba yung present ni Kong Zia, merong date? May date ba sa baba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yung sa acknowledgement receipt may date. So,
Yes, Mr.
kung ako po ang SDO at magpapareceive ako, dun po sa dates, yung inclusive dates, paano po ba? Like, ilang tao ang tatanggap dun sa isang SDO?
Ang presumption po dyan is yung taong tumanggap nung payment, siya yung nandyan pong receipt by. So,
Pardon me, Mr. Chair?
one person yung one acknowledgement receipt.
Precisely. What I'm referring to is, yung acknowledgement receipt, di ba may mga dates? So, ang
Yes,
nagpapareceive
Mr. Chair.
isang tao lang. Kunyari, ma'am, attorney, ikaw yung SDO. Ibig ba sabihin ng SDO, ikaw ang nagpapatanggap ng pera? Tama po ba?
Yes, ideally po.
Okay.
Supposed to be
So,
po.
ideally and supposed to be.
po.
In this case, hindi po ang SDO ang nag-release ng pera? Sa pananaw nyo?
I think meron po silang certification na sila po yung nagre-release ng pera.
And in this case, Mr. Chair, yung SDO po ay sino? If we can hear the name again.
Sa OVP po is Gina Acosta, and sa DepEd po is Mr. Edward Fajarda.
Sorry, ma'am.
Sa OVP po is Miss Gina Acosta, and sa DepEd po is Mr. Edward Fajarda.
So ganun po pala ka-importante, Mr. Chair, bakit hinahanap natin si Ma'am Acosta at si Ginoong Fajardo. Kasi this will solve all the problems. Malay mo, totoo naman palang sila ang nagpatanggap. At totoong tao si Kokoy at yung mga minention nyo. So kung ganun, kung wala naman tayong tinatago, mas mararapat talaga. It will be better to request them to appear so that all these questions will be answered. And kung wala namang mali, di matapos ito at itong ating mga butihing kawani sa gobyerno ay makabalik sa kanilang opisina at makapagtrabaho. Kasi sayang yung oras na ang dami nating pinag-uusapan, but unfortunately, yung dalawang taong may kasagutan sa tanong na ito ay tila hindi mahagilap. That's my understanding. So with that, Mr. Chair, may I again ask our Commission on Audit representative or any resource person for that matter, kapag ang SDO, pwede po ba niyang i-delegate yung kanyang function? Ibig sabihin, pwede niya bang i-delegate ang pagpatanggap ng pera?
Mr. Chair, as far as I know po, pagka designated po, hindi na po pwedeng i-delegate, especially since sa case po ng Intel and confidential funds, meron po silang pinipirmahang certification na
Dapat
po yung
sila lang ang mag-release.
nag-disperse.
Hindi pwedeng iparelease sa iba kasi baka mamaya hindi nila kaya.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Can the head of office, let's say in this case, the DepEd secretary or the vice president, designate more than one SDOs? Ano po ba ang batas?
Pwede naman pong mag-delegate ng more than one SDOs as long as the SDOs are bonded po.
So in this case, pwede naman na hindi lang si Ma'am Acosta, hindi lang sa Ginoong Fajardo, pwedeng kumuha sana ng maraming SDOs para hindi maging nakakapagtaka yung pag-disperse ng 4,500 acknowledgement receipts. Tama po ba?
Tama po, as long as isasubmit po lahat ng requirements like yung proper designation po ng SDO, yung bonding.
So
po
it's
yan.
possible na para hanapan mo ng solusyon yung ganitong sistema, pwede ka mag-designate ng maraming SDO. Unless you only trust one person. Unless merong mga bagay na ayaw din ng iba yung risk. Unless it's also very difficult for that person to let somebody sign kung hindi niya kakilala. So, Mr. Chair, pasensya na po, medyo foreign po sa akin kasi ang confidential fund. Paano po ba ito? Let's say, these are all from taxpayers' money. Tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So, galing po sa kaban ng Pilipinas, paano po ito na ilalabas?
Kung sa national government agencies po, nasa GAA po nila. Pag sa GOCCs po, dapat nasa operating budget, corporate operating budget po nila.
Okay.
And for
From that,
NGOs po,
ma'am, okay, nasa GAA siya, nasa budget siya, paano siya na ilalabas? Let's say tapos na yung budget. Let's say you are the let's say you are the head of office. Kapag ikaw po ang head of office, paano po mailalabas ang confidential funds?
Kung okay naman po yung documentation from DBM, kina-cash advance po siya ng SDO.
So, kina-cash advance siya.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And in this case, ang nag-cash advance ay yung SDO talaga.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Paano nyo pa yun ika-cash advance talagang cash?
I presume cash po siya,
Cash siya.
since
Hindi po ba yun delikado kung iisang tao lang?
accountability po nung SDO yun.
No, what
So,
I mean is, kunyari magka-cash advance ka, ang pagkaintindi ko ng cash advance ay kukuha ka ng pera. We're
Yes,
talking
Mr.
of how much?
Millions.
Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
millions po usually pagka
Pwede po nating
confidential.
maibigay yung tamang amount? Kasi pag sinabi natin millions, pwedeng 5 million, pwedeng 1 million.
For example po sa case
in
po
this
dito,
case, in this case.
kay OVP, 125 million po. Or sa DepEd po, 37.5 million.
125 million. Ibig sabihin yung pag-cash advance, buo na 125? Or baka tingi-tingi? Sa nakita
Based
niyo
sa
pong dokumento.
documents po nila, Mr. Chair, buo siya since buo po yung check na sinubmit nila.
So, ibig sabihin, yung opisina, magbibigay ng pera sa isang tao na 125 million. At yung tao yon ay mamimigay din sa mga andun sa parang recipients, no? Ng kanilang mga... In this case, sino po ang tao na sinasabi natin? Yung nag-encash ng 125 million.
Yung SDO po, since siya po yung nandun.
Anong pangalan
naka-names
po, Mr. Chair?
Sa case ng OVP po is Gina Acosta po.
So si Ma'am Gina Acosta pumunta sa bangko, dala-dala ang cheque, 125 million, na cash ang ipinalit.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, may I just be appraised? Pasensya na po. Kasi sa pagkaalam ko, pagka nasa bangko ka at nag-withdraw ka or nag-i-encash ka, hindi po ba limited po ang kanilang cash?
Maybe we can ask a representative from the Land Bank
Yeah.
to answer the query.
Just to clarify, Mr. Chair, I'm just looking at the possibility. I'm not pointing any accusation. Tagalabang may nilabas bang pera or baka mamaya wala namang nilabas na pera at naiwan yung pera doon? Kasi I'm hearing acknowledgement receipt. So maybe we can ask from, anong bangko po, sir, ma'am?
Land Bank po, Mr. Chair.
Do you have a representative from Land Bank? Would you please invite the representative of Land Bank to take a seat here? Dito po. Ma'am, could you please state your name and your position?
I am Nenita Camposano, the department head of the OTR branch. I was
Pardon me, Mr. Chair. Ano, pakiulit po, ma'am.
I'm Nenita Camposano, department head of the DOTR branch of Land Bank.
Yes.
I was
You have
former-
taken your oath already, right?
Yes.
Tama po. Please
So-
continue, Congresswoman.
Ma'am, sa magkano po ang usual na cash na nasa bangko po ninyo at any given time?
Different branches have
Hindi,
different...
in your, you can probably speak in behalf of your branch.
I mentioned before that the CIB level of the DepEd branch where I was formerly the department manager.
Ano po, CIW? Ano yung sinabi niyo po?
The cash in vault, sorry.
Okay.
The cash in vault level, the cash level of our vault, as I mentioned in the previous hearing, is 10 million.
So ang ibig po sabihin at any given time, ang ibig sabihin ng cash in vault, yung available na pera sa bangko ay 10 million.
No, Your Honor. That is the maximum, but we don't store cash at that much.
10 million is the maximum, but you don't store for purposes of safety.
Security. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so magkano po usually, ma'am, average?
5 to 6.
5 to 6 million. So you can say that the highest will be 10, it can be 3, it can be 4, and the average is 5. Is this true na yung SDO ay nag-encash? Was it encash or nag-encash ng 125 million at one time?
I was with DepEd branch, ma'am. The OBP is with our Shaw Boulevard branch.
Okay. So can
Do we have a representative from Rojas Boulevard
Shaw Boulevard.
branch? Shaw Boulevard or Rojas?
May I be excused, Your Honor?
So while waiting for the other manager, so sa inyo po, ma'am, at one time is 3 to 5 or 10 million. And for sa DepEd, magkano po ang ini-encash ng SDO?
This particular check, ma'am, 37.5 million.
So paano nyo po nagagawa yon? Kasi 5 to 10 million lang yung cash on vault nyo.
We require our clients to tell us the amount to be withdrawn 2 days or 1 day before. the
So 2
encash.
days or 1 day before, pinapa-prepare yung... okay. And in this case, who made the call?
It was the cash division of the Department of Education.
Cash Division of the Department of Education. Specifically, sino po?
Usually it's Ma'am Sonia De Leon.
Pardon
who
me?
calls- It was Miss Sonia De Leon who calls us for the reservation.
So si Sonia, Ma'am Sonia, Mr. Chair, is not here. And is this a regular occurrence, ma'am? Ito ba ay pangkaraniwan na nangyayari? Yung 37.5 o yung malalaking amount na ini-encash, pangkaraniwan naman ito.
Yes, ma'am.
So pangkaraniwan ito sa inyo. Usually po para po saan?
We don't know, ma'am. We are not privy to the DepEd's activities.
So pangkaraniwan ito na withdraw ng DepEd.
No, I'm not saying with the DepEd only, but with all our clients, ma'am.
Your clients are government or private clients?
Both, ma'am.
Both. So in the case of DepEd, pangkaraniwan po ba ang nagka-cash advance ng 37.5?
No, ma'am.
Ano po, Mr.
No,
Chair?
Your Honor.
So pangkaraniwan po siya, Mr. Chair, or hindi?
With the DepEd, with the DepEd.
Yes
no,
po.
No.
Okay. And maybe, Mr. Chair, we can ask the land bank manager of the other branch.
Ma'am, before we address the land bank manager of other branch. Gusto ko lang pong magdagdag ng tanong.
Yes.
Ilang occasion po kayo na nakapag-withdraw ang DepEd ng 37.5 one time?
3 occasions.
3 occasions. Okay. Thank you po.
Thank you, sir.
Ma'am, pwede po ba paki-state ninyo yung pangalan ninyo at saka yung position ninyo?
I'm G&G Abay.
Ma'am, pakilapit po yung yung mic.
Good morning po to everybody and to all our officers. Jean Abaya po from Land Bank Shaw Boulevard Branch. I'm the department manager and assumed the position only as of January 2024.
So, Mr. Chair, is the good manager here now was also the manager present? I'm really sorry, hindi ko po alam yung date ng encashment na nasabi ni Attorney Camora. So, ma'am, covered ba nung tenure nyo itong encashment ng 125?
The one check is negotiated with Shaw Boulevard 2022. And the other 3 checks was negotiated 2023.
Wala pa po kayo nun, ma'am.
I'm not the department manager, but I'm also assigned at Shaw Boulevard, being the branch operation officer.
So, Mr. Chair, matanong po natin sa ating land bank representative. Itong okasyong ito, ilang beses po nagkaroon ng encashment ng 125 million?
4 times po siya.
4 times. Sabay-sabay po yun? Buo yung 125 million or kinukuha as the need arises or base dun sa pangangailangan?
1 time po for each check.
1 time for each check. Sino po ang nagpupunta?
Mismong payee po.
Sino po ang payee, ma'am, sir? Mr.
Gina
Chair.
Acosta.
So kaya pala, Mr. Chair, habang ako ay wala pa dito, naririnig ko na lahat kayo nagagalit na nung wala si Ma'am Acosta dahil nga siya ang makakasagot ng karamihan ng tanong dito. Is that our understanding, Mr. Chair? Tama po ba?
Tama po kayo, as SDO.
Okay. So ma'am, pagka nag-encash ka ng 125 million, magkano po ang yung average na pera na nasa bangko?
The amount is not sufficient for that 125. So, we asked the client...
Pasensya na po, ma'am. Okay lang pong Tagalogin natin para po medyo mas
sige po,
maintindihan.
Yung pong limit ng aming vault will not be sufficient kung ang pinag-uusapan po natin is yung 125 million. So, per ano po namin, we request our client po na magpa-reserve for us to prepare po yung cash requirement of our client before the encashment, the day of encashment.
So, in this case, meron naman nagpa-reserve.
Meron po.
Sino po, Mr. Chair?
From the agency po.
Sino po kaya from the agency?
Since that time kasi po, I was not in the position po to na mag-accept ng reservation. I will check po dun sa record namin sa branch.
Pare-pareho bang tao ang nagpapa-reserve or hindi naman?
Generally po, from the cash division po of the agency. But I cannot disclose yung exact name or person.
Bakit po, Mr. Chair?
Ma'am, I'm sorry po kasi by that time nga, as I've said earlier po, na I'm not the branch head during that time. And mostly kasi, either po the branch head or yung cashier po namin ang pwedeng mag-receive ng reservation of
Pero
cash.
alam niyo po kung sino ang nagpapa-reserve.
Hindi po.
Kasi isang branch lang. So pwede niyo pong matanong, Mr.
Ma'am,
Chair?
Yes.
Nandirito po ba yung branch head during that time? Nandirito po ngayon?
Wala po siya, Chair.
Wala. Okay.
Retired na po siya.
Retired na? Okay.
So maybe, Mr. Chair, we can invite the former branch chair.
Would you like to, ano po bang pangalan niya?
Yung former manager po.
Yes, nung December 2022 up to September 2023.
Violeta Constantino po.
Violeta
Constantino.
Constantino.
Mr. Chair, I move that we invite Mrs. Constantino in our next hearing.
Is there any second to the motion? Duly seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
So, Mr. Chair, the reason why I'm asking this, andun kasi yung risk. Yung risk ng tao, for all we know, kawawa rin naman si Ma'am Gina Acosta, na pupunta siya, delikado ang buhay niyan. Kasi 125 million cash is not a joke. Ito po ay 4 or 5 beses na bumabalik-balik siya, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
4 times po, since yung check po na na-issued is 4.
So mag-isa lang talaga siya na pumupunta or merong mga kasama?
May mga kasama po.
May mga kasama. Nakikilala niyo po yung mga kasama niya?
No, ma'am.
By face, makikilala po?
Hindi na po, Miss Chair.
Ano po yung sasakyan na ginagamit nila?
We're not aware po of the, kasi po yung parking, hindi naman po namin.
Kasi di ba yung pera nasa loob ng bangko? Maglalabas ka ng pera sa labas. Isasakay po ba natin sa tricycle, Mr. Chair?
Hindi po. It's since over-the-counter transaction po siya, after release po kasi ng bank sa client, it's call na po ni client where kung saan
Ma'am,
po
can you
nila
please
ilalagay.
speak closer to the microphone?
Hindi na po namin chine-check or minomonitor yung kung anong car po or vehicle
Sino po,
po.
Mr. Chair, Your Honors, yung naghahakwat?
Sila po mismo, yung mga client.
Ibig sabihin, wala pong taga-bangko ang naghahakwat or nagpapalabas?
Wala po.
Yeah. It's just quite unusual, Mr. Chair, that the branch manager who's present here now seems to have probably a temporary amnesia on what has happened. Kasi napaka-imposible pong maglalabas ka ng 125 million cash 4 na beses ni hindi mo lang titingnan kung ano yung paglalagyan at ni hindi mo tutulungan yung kliyente na maglabas ng pera. Kasi syempre, alam mong it can invite perpetrators, either ma-hold up, either pasukin yung branch. Kung ganyan po ba, ma'am, nilalock yung branch or parang open to all lang?
Miss Chair, hindi naman po. Yung dun sa lalagyan, ma'am, nakikita naman po namin kasi from the teller, i-release po yung money. So the teller, nakikita niya po kung saan niya ilalagay yung money. So yung dun sa paglabas po, since malaki po yung amount, so from the release po, parang dapat wala na pong touch ang one of the personnel since po ilalabas na po siya sa bank. So, ang ano po namin
Dumadaan siya ng teller. Bale, doon yung teller, yung parang may mesa po na ganon, ma'am? Bale, igaganon mo po?
Actually, nire-request naman po yun ni client na dapat doon sa discrete place. So, since malaki po yung amount, nire-release po namin siya at the back of the teller.
Sorry, ma'am, at the?
Back of the teller po. Yung medyo discrete po yung area para hindi po naka-expose
Hindi nyo
sa tao.
tinitingnan yung risk ng empleyado ng gobyerno na kumukuha siya ng malaking cash, baka mamaya masaksak yan paglabas ng bangko?
Nasa likod nga po, back of the teller po, nasa back room po ng teller.
Back ng teller, yung dinadaanan niya, yung pa rin yung main door or merong ibang daanan?
Yung exit, yung entrance and exit, isa lang po yung dun sa case po ng Shaw Boulevard branch.
So dun din lumalabas?
Yes, Miss
Okay.
Chair.
At ang naghahakwat nun ay yung kliyente na mismo?
Opo, kasi may mga kasama naman po sila na na
Hindi nyo po kilala yung mga kasama.
hindi po.
Hindi nyo
Chair.
naman hinahatid yung pera papunta sa opisina, sa DepEd.
Hindi po, Miss Chair.
Pero pwede siyang ihatid, Mr. Chair.
Hindi po, Miss Chair.
Bakit po? Di ba meron kayong armored vehicle?
Wala po kasi kaming MOA with regards to the delivery of the cash to the client.
Wala
po kaming memorandum of agreement with them. So, talagang over the
So
counter.
lahat po ng kung ihahatid dapat may MOA.
If we will be using the armored card po, Miss
Hindi
Chair.
na kung for purposes of safety kasi kawawa naman yung mga empleyado at kawani ng gobyerno kung malay mo may pag-interesan sila. Hindi nyo hinahatid ng armored vehicle papunta dun sa opisina para naman safe sila.
Yun po, kung meron po kaming memorandum of agreement kasi yung armored card is need po ng
Sino po yung teller na nag-release ng pera?
teller po ng branch.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Miss Chair, since 4 checks po ang issued check for negotiation, iba-ibang teller po yung nag-issue.
So iba-ibang teller
Oo,
siya.
so in our case, 3 tellers po yung iba-ibang nag-serve.
Okay. At usually is this usual for land bank?
In case po ni Shaw Boulevard, that large amount, hindi po siya usual kasi hindi naman po lahat ng client namin nag-encash ng ganong kalaking amount.
Unusual po siya sa pananaw nyo.
Opo, Miss Chair.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, the reason why I'm asking this is we're putting the risk of our government officials and our government employees. Imagine, magwi-withdraw ka ganyan kalaki, cold cash. Maybe in aid of legislation, there can also be a cap kasi pwede naman na maraming SDOs or pwede naman to ginawang every other week yung pag-disperse. Tsaka ang tanong rin, there are just a lot of questions, Mr. Chair, because if you get 125 million cash and you bring it to an office, a government office, may vault ba yung government office? Maybe we can ask the representatives from OVP. Meron po tayong vault doon, ma'am, Mr. Chair? Wala na. Can the finance chief answer, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Attorney Sanchez or Attorney Lopez?
Mr. Chair, we have a vault for our cash division, but that is not the same vault being used by the SDO. So I am not aware if there is a separate vault used by the SDO.
Si Ma'am Attorney ZULEIKA, meron po?
Your Honor, I am aware of a vault as mentioned by the Director for Finance and Admin, for cash. It's used for, I think, understand payroll and petty cash fund.
It's used for payroll? Hindi po ba online na po ang payroll natin, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
I'm
oo.
sorry. May I refer this matter to our Chief Accountant and Director for Admin and Finance?
Ma'am, just to add, Mr. Chair, just to add to what I mentioned earlier, the vault for the cash division is being used primarily for petty cash fund, but there are also some items of payroll. For example, clothing allowance, Your Honor, which are paid in cash to employees.
In your experience, is it safe to take 125 million cash from the bank and transfer it to your office? Risky po ba yon sa inyo? Pwede po ba kayong pasukin? May capability ba kayo na i-deter yung mga possible untoward incidents? Kung sakasakaling mangyari, palayo naman sana at buti hindi nangyari.
Mr. Chair, in terms of the security arrangements in the office, we regularly coordinate with the Vice Presidential Security and Protection Group for security assessment, and we take their recommendations For example, if they advise us to add additional blue guards, we take their recommendations and apply it. But we defer
So in
to
this
their
case,
risk
Mr.
assessment.
Chair, yung 4 na beses na kumukuha kayo ng cash na 125 million sa Land Bank at nililipat sa opisina ng Vice President, ano po ang naging security measures na ginawa nyo?
Mr. Chair, I apologize, but I do not have personal knowledge on the specific security measures undertaken.
Can you speak closely to the microphone, please?
Sorry, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I do not have personal knowledge on the specific security measures undertaken after the check was released.
Alam nyo po kaya, maybe the Chief of Staff or the Finance, would you know sino po ang driver nung sasakyan na kumukuha ng pera?
Your Honor, I am not really privy to financial matters in the office. My role really as Chief of Staff is based purely operations. So I think the better person to answer really for admin and financial concerns would be Director Lynn Sanchez.
Director Lynn Sanchez. So, Director, pag dumarating po yung pera, saan po dinidiretso?
Mr. Chair, after the cash division releases the check to the special dispersing officer, we already have no participation on the encashment or handling
So,
of
ibig
the
sabihin,
cash.
Mr. Chair, pagkakuha ng pera sa Land Bank ng 125 million, 4 na beses, hindi siya bumabalik sa office ni Vice President.
Mr. Chair, I do not have information on whether bumabalik siya po or hindi.
So, hindi siya napupunta sa opisina. Kasi 4 na beses ito, Mr. Chair, Madam Resource Person nangyari. Tsaka ang laki kasi ng amount eh. Ilang kahon po yun?
Yes, Mr. Chair, as mentioned earlier, hindi ko na po nakikita yung pag-encash and pag-handle ng
So,
cash.
maybe, Mr. Chair, we can ask the Land Bank Manager. Ma'am, ilang boxes po yun?
Doon po sa amount ng for the OBP, 2 box po siya ng BSP box.
2 box siya ng BSP box. So, ibig sabihin,
Point of clarification. Sorry, I've never seen a BSP box. How big is that box?
Malaki po siya, Mr. Chair, pero pag kinash out po namin siya kay client, hindi na po siya naka-box. They put it in bag. In our lang.
Mr. Chair, can we request the resource person to
Yeah.
speak close to the microphone? So, hindi na siya nakabox. Saan po, ma'am?
Linalagay po ni client dun sa kanyang sariling bag. May dala po silang bag.
Sorry, may I just interject? Anong bag po ito? Duffel bag? Eco bag? Ano pong bag?
Congressman Pamela.
Very curious lang ako. Kasi ang laki nung amount na pinag-uusapan. So anong, maleta po ba?
As I remember po, malalaki siyang parang gym bag.
Duffel bag.
Duffel bag.
Ah,
Ang isang duffel bag po, ilan po ang kasya doon?
hindi ko po ma-remember yung kung ilan yung, kasi parang hinati-hati po nila.
Ilang duffel bag po yun?
Hindi
if you
ko,
could recall.
more or less po, mga nasa 3 to 4 duffel bags.
3 to 4.
Ay, duffel bags, parang gym bag po, not duffel bags.
Parang gym bag
Opo,
na malaki.
na malalaki
Kasi kung
po.
3 to 4 sa 125, so more or less mga 25 to 30 million na kada isa. Tama po ba?
Probably, Mr. Chair.
Probably.
Chair, mag-interject lang. Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman Jojo.
Sa kay manager, sure kayo na hindi nag-request for delivery? Considering yung amount niya at saka 4 times na may withdrawal at syempre once na nag-abiso sa bangko, the following day ang withdrawal nito supposedly, di ba? So, parang unusual naman na pipick upin nila sa bangko yung actual na withdrawal. Di ba? kapag ganitong extent ng withdrawal, usually, no? Kasi galing din ako ng bangko, ma'am, dinedeliver yung mga ganitong kalalaking amount.
Hindi po, Mr. Chair, since nabanggit ko kanina na wala naman po kaming memorandum of agreement as to the cash delivery.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes,
Can
Congressman.
we inquire
Garin.
from other resource person if indeed a memorandum of agreement is needed when you use the, what do you call that? The special vehicle. Armored vehicle.
Miss Camposano. Ma'am, before I recognize you, the chair would like to recognize Senior Deputy Speaker, Don Gonzales. Yes, please continue.
Yes, Madam Chair, a memorandum of agreement is needed for us to deliver the cash to our client.
In this case, did you not suggest or recommend to the agencies concerned that the cash be delivered by your armored vehicle, considering that this is cold cash and you are in Metro Manila where there is traffic, and those traffic stops can actually put the danger of our DepEd and OVP officials in jeopardy. Kasi ang dali-dali lang yan, may mag-text lang, ayan o, naglalabas ng pera, unless marami ang nag-secure sa OVP at sa DepEd para ilabas yung cash na ito. Or the next question is, saan ito nilalagay? Kasi syempre, ang laking pera, kunyari 125 million cash, bibit-bitin mo pa uwi sa opisina. Gaano po kalaki ang office ni Ma'am Gina Acosta? Maybe we can ask
Representative from OVP. Attorney Sanchez.
Yes, Mr. Chair. It's just a small office, Mr. Chair, and it's shared with other staff.
So, Mr. Chair, Your Honors, no? Tama naman po na yung accountable is Miss Gina Acosta because she's the payee of the check. However, that's taxpayers' money. That's still pera ng sambayan ng Pilipino na in-entrust sa OVP at sa DepEd. And our good, distinguished resource person here, Attorney Sanchez, I'm not sure, Mr. Chair, I'm not a lawyer, but is it not that they will also be accountable because they are aware that a 125 million cash check will be encashed, brought back in cold cash, stored in the office that is shared by many people? So I think accountability does not stop with Ms. Acosta. Accountability also includes those in the finance and cash division, kasi alam nila, unang-una, kapag ikaw ay nasa gobyerno, you have to make sure na yung cash na nasa office nyo ay tama-tama lang para hindi hold upin yung mga empleyado doon. Pangalawa, it's a shared office. Pangatlo, it's a huge amount. May I ask, Mr. Chair, ma'am, bakit po, instead of 125 million cash, 4 na beses, ba't di nyo nalang ginawang 10 million, 15 million, lower, para yung risk hindi malaki? Kasi di ba nasa opisina nyo nakatago ang pera? Bakit po?
Attorney Sanchez.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I would just like to clarify that I do not know if kung saan po nakatago yung pera. So, I'm not aware kung sa opisina
So you
po
are not
nakatago.
sure na from the bank, tinediretso sa office?
Yes, Mr. Chair. And then, in terms of the amount...
Mr. Chair, sorry to cut you on that, ha? Ma'am, kayo ang nagpaparelease, kayo ang nag-i-issue ng cheque. I-encash. Malaking amount. Ibig sabihin, hindi nyo na chine-check na napupunta sa opisina nyo? Next question, Mr. Chair. Is there a possibility that it is being brought by Gina Acosta to her house?
Mr. Chair, again, I do not have personal knowledge.
Is it possible?
Mr. Chair, for possibility, I would agree that there is possibility, Your Honor.
In this case, Mr. Chair, ma'am, pasensya na po. Pero you are in charge of the coffers of the OVP you would release a check of 125 million, not once, not twice, not thrice, but 4 times, and cash it totally, and then pinapabayaan nyo na lang, kung inuwi yan at pinakbo ng tao.
Mr. Chair, under the joint circular, it is the responsibility of the Special Disbursing Officer to safekeep the fund. So it is also for that reason that there is a bond for the Special Disbursing Officer. And as to the amount that was asked earlier, we just relied on the amount of the disbursement voucher that was submitted to the accounting division for the release of the checks, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Mr. Chair,
Ma'am, sandali lang po,
Yes.
may isang tatanong lang ako. Kanina sinabi po ninyo maliit lang yung opisina ni Ma'am Gina Acosta. Tama po ba? Could you please describe the office of Miss Gina Acosta?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, the office of Ms. Gina Acosta, it's located in the executive wing of our office. So, different staff sila doon, and then parang cubicle lang siya na tabi-tabi.
Cubicle lang.
Yes, Mr.
Wala
Chair.
ba siyang taguan doon sa opisina niya ng pera?
I am not aware, Mr. Chair.
So, pag sinabi mong cubicle, di ibig sabihin, hindi siya talaga office.
Yes.
Tama ba?
Mr. Chair. Yes, Mr. Chair.
So, there is no way na po pwede niyang itago sa opisina niya yung 125 million. Tama po ba? Kasi cubicle lang eh.
Mr. Chair, may mga storage shelves doon sa opisina.
Storage shelf.
Shelves, cabinets, Mr.
Cabinet,
Chair.
but
Yes.
not vault.
I'm not aware of any vault, Mr. Chair.
Para sa iba pang karagdagang mga balita at impormasyon, ay huwag po nating kalimutang mag-like, share at comment sa video na ito, at huwag po rin nating kalimutang mag-subscribe to continue supporting us. Maraming salamat po sa inyong panonood, at naway tangkilikin po ninyo ang aming YouTube channel.